Hello, my name is Dan Ain. I'm the rabbi in residence here at 92Y Tribeca, which means I run the Jewish Life programs here. And part of that includes high holiday services, which begin 1 week from tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all. I'm of the belief that a rabbi should always jump at the chance to preach, even if only given 6 words in which to do so. So tonight I'm going to see if I can, in those 6 words, convince you that maybe you actually do want to go to high holiday services this year. They don't have to be my services. They can be the services that you're already planning on or not planning on attending. But in those 6 words, I want to see if I can get you to think differently about them and maybe even want to attend. But I get 6 minutes, so I also want to give you a little brief backstory to it. Now, I became a rabbi in sort of a roundabout way. I grew up as a conservative Jew on Long Island, doing all of those things that conservative Jews do, like going to religious day school 5 days a week, and attending Soviet Jewry marches in the city, and for family vacations, going up to Kutcher's in the Catskills and playing bingo. Anatoly Sharansky was a rock star in my household, and we still talk about the time when Mom answered the phone and it was Abba Eben. Which was quite the excitement. And the reason Abba Eben was calling is because my dad was a Jewish journalist. He wrote for the Jewish newspaper, and he also had a cable access, Long Island cable access television show called Jewish Life. And that was a half-an-hour program where he would interview interesting Jewish celebrities like my hometown rabbi. It was quite the excitement. It was quite the excitement when my 3rd grade class was invited onto the program to light the Hanukkah candles at the end of the show. And I'm convinced that some of my classmates are still jealous of all the FaceTime that me and my brothers received. Now, my mother wrote a kosher cooking column in the local Jewish newspaper. The title of the column was called The Kosher Gourmet. And this is a true story. She, in the early 80s, appeared on Regis's morning show before Kathy Lee, around Passover time, where she made her homemade matzah brie on the set. Now, when she was done making the matzah brie, Regis came over to take a bite, and he did a pretend gag. And my mom still has not forgiven him for this. And whenever I left the house, my mother used to always say to me, "Daniel, when you're out on the street, remember that you represent our family, the entire Ain extended family, the Dix Hills Jewish Center, the Solomon Schechter Day School, Camp Ramah in the Berkshires, and the Jewish people around the world." And then she would pause and say, "Did I forget anyone?" And then there were the services, the endless services. The first thing we did when we got to school was sit through 45 minutes of services. And then on Saturday, when you just wanted to sleep late, we would get dragged out of bed and taken to even more services. And then in the summertime, when you just wanted to run around the fields and play ball and hang out with your friends, there were even more services. Endless, endless services. You know, there's this joke about a mother who's trying to wake up her son, and she says, "Son, you got to get up. It's time to go to temple." And the son's like, "I don't want to go to temple. Let me sleep." The mother says, "You have to get up. Services are starting soon. You really got to get ready." And the son says, "I'm not going, just this time. I can't go to services. Give me one good reason why I have to go to services." And the mother says, "I'll give you 2. The first one is Shabbat, and the second one is you're the rabbi." And then on Yom Kippur, when I was a kid, we would be in temple all day long, from 8 a.m. in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. The only relief of the day came during Yizkor, which is the prayer for the deceased relatives, when they would kick all of the kids out of the sanctuary and we were free to roam around the synagogue grounds. But there was one part of the service that I really liked and I always looked forward to, and that was the confessional. And that was when you got to read a list of all the sins that you had committed while beating your chest. It really was beat your chest, repeat after me. And it went something like this: for the sin of foul speech, for the sin of sexual immorality, for the sin of dishonesty in business, for the sin of spreading gossip, for the sin of plotting against others, and then at the end, forgive us, pardon us, grant atonement. This was great, especially because I knew that a lot of the people there had actually done some of these things. And besides, how often do you get a chance to be in public and actually admit that you're sorry and do it with other people there. It was pretty special. But the rabbis are humans, and sometimes they didn't always do a great job with what was really excellent material. And we can weigh it down, sometimes with good intentions, sometimes with not such good intentions. And so the rabbis would always say, when we got to the confessional, the rabbis would always say, now don't really beat yourself up. Just give a nice little tap, like a love tap. And I thought, man, if I was leading the service, I'd tell them to go right at it. Because really, it doesn't matter if you're a Jew or not a Jew. We all need a space where we can get together at least once a year and say, maybe we've been wrong. Maybe we're sorry. And to actually feel it. Now, these ideas of atonement, of asking for forgiveness, of turning your life around, these are universal ideas. And we could all really use them, especially today when you're never allowed to be wrong, because any mistake that you do is going to end up online, and it's going to always be there. It's going to always be there. But unfortunately, the presentation has not always been too great. And so I felt compelled to become a rabbi to see if I can do just a little bit about that. So for the six words that I want to share with you this evening to make you rethink high holiday services and what they can be, maybe actually make you want to go to them. I want you to think of all of those rabbis or religious leaders that you've had in the past, the ones maybe you didn't like, the ones who might not have really clicked with you and didn't really connect with some of the ideas in the text. And I want you to think of them, and on their behalf, as well as on my own, I'd like to say, forgive us, pardon us, grant atonement. Thank you very much.